Hey folks, Harris here, and in this video I'm going to be addressing a lot of the frequently asked questions I've been getting around Letter 6419 along with child tax credit repayments. So let's get right into it. There's obviously been a lot of buzz around a lot of people having to repay some or all portion of their child tax credit payments, and there's a decent chance that you may have to as well. Just a heads up, I'm not a CPA and I'm not a financial advisor, so be sure to check with someone who's more qualified, but this is just my own take based on personal research. So the first question is, how is it even possible that I received more in child tax credit payments than I am entitled to? Well, the IRS estimated how much you should be receiving last year, and they used two pieces of information to determine that by law. The first piece of information is your 2020 tax return, and if you don't have a 2020 tax return, then they look at your 2019 tax return, which is how they determine what your income is and how eligible you are. The second thing they look at is any updates you provided to the IRS in 2021, such as those you make through the child tax credit portal on the IRS website. Now keep in mind, your situation could have changed in 2021, and here are just a few examples of what might have changed that would cause you to receive more money than you are entitled to. One example is a child who normally lives with you, but they changed homes and lived at that residence for more than half of 2021. Another example is that maybe your income changed in 2021, or your filing status changed in 2021. Maybe your primary residence was outside of the US for more than half the year. All of these would have resulted in you getting more in child tax credit payments than you should have been entitled to. Now, before we move on to the second question, consider subscribing to this channel if you do enjoy content and information like this, and also make sure to leave a question down below if you have one that hasn't been answered. The second question is, will I need to pay back the IRS any child tax credit payments that I received in excess of what I was entitled to? The answer is yes, unless of course you qualify for repayment protection. If for any reason you don't qualify for repayment protection, what's going to happen is when you do file your taxes in 2021, you're going to add that excess amount as additional income taxes, and as a result you'll either get a smaller refund if you do get refunds, and if you normally owe taxes, you're going to allow more taxes accordingly. Question number 3, what disqualifies me from repayment protection? And it's generally income based. So if you're a married couple filing jointly, if you make $120,000 or more, at that point, that repayment protection is going to completely phase out. It's $100,000 if you are head of household, and it's $80,000 if you file single. Question number 4, how do I know if I qualify for full repayment protection? And this is based on two things. So it's based on the fact that, have you resided in the US for more than half the year in 2021? If yes, you should be good to go. The second thing is, of course, your income. So as a married couple, have you earned less than $60,000 in that year? Or have you earned less than $40,000 if you file single in 2021? If you answer yes to both of these questions about residing in the US for over half a year and also being under these income thresholds, then yes, you should in theory qualify for full repayment protection per child. This takes me to question 5. So if I am eligible for repayment protection, how much relief can I count on? So full repayment protection is about $2,000 per child. So let's say in 2020 you had 3 qualifying children, and in 2021 you had 1 qualifying children, and all this time you've been getting extra payments for 2 extra children. So that would make you eligible for up to $2,000 times 2 children, so a total of $4,000 in this case, as long as you meet those income thresholds. Question number 6, does my repayment protection decrease if my adjusted gross income is higher than the modified adjusted gross income that would qualify me for full protection? The answer is yes. Your protection starts to phase out starting at $60,000 if, for example, you file married jointly, all the way up to $120,000. So at $60,000, that protection starts to diminish, and by the time you reach $120,000 of income, it's completely phased out. It's zero. So for example, if you as a couple make $75,000 a year and you do have repayment protection for that, $2,000 for 1 child, since you make 25% more than that $60,000 bottom threshold, as a result your $2,000 credit, your $2,000 repayment protection rather, would be reduced by 25%, thereby making it $1,500 instead of $2,000. So it's all percentage based. Question number 7, what happens if I do have to repay some excess advance payments, but I can't afford to do so when I do file my taxes in 2021? So for most people, it should be as simple simple as reducing the amount of tax refund that you typically get. But let's say you do owe a balance beyond that tax refund. The IRS generally does allow payment arrangements, and you can apply for a payment plan online at irs.gov/payments. Question number 8, what should I do if the child tax credit update portal shows a payment issued but I never received it? Well, first you want to make sure to go back on that child tax credit update portal and make sure that the payment was not returned to the IRS. If you then find that you did not receive it and it was also not returned, then you can contact the IRS to trace that payment. And if the IRS determines that it really wasn't received or returned, they'll update their records and ask that you exclude that missing amount from, the aggregate amount of your child tax credit payments that you report on your 2021 tax return. I'll also post the number for the IRS so that you could call them, but make sure that you have the payment date, the payment method, the status, and the amount that's displayed on your child tax credit update portal ready before you call them. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to check out my official video on letter 6419, but this is all for today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy content and information like this, and also leave a comment down below if you do have a question, and I will do my best to address it if I can. Thank you for watching.